everyone, and welcome to the Soul to Soul Podcast 2024. We are elevating our mind, body, and spirit. I have to introduce y'all to a dear, dear friend of mine, one of my Atlanta day ones, Marvin Baldwin.
Peace and great vibrations to us all.
So, brand new podcast that I wanted to go ahead and just share some experiences and talk about a couple different conversations that we don't typically talk about. Introducing Marvin, brand is Mind, Body, and Soul. Tell us about that.
Mind, Body, Soul Healer. The name came about, I was massaging Tyrese.
Mm-hmm.
And this was about 7 years ago. And he was like, man, he said, you got soulful hands. And you should be like Marvin Gaye, soulful hands. And I said, I don't like the gay part. But I said, I like the soul. And so I started Googling. I deal with the mind, the body, and the soul. So I Googled mind, body, soul healer.
Okay.
And it came up 0. Nobody had it.
Okay.
So
it's like a brand name, like officially.
Like, usually when you Google names, a lot of stuff pops up.
Uh-huh.
So I Googled it,
Uh-huh.
Mind, Body, Soul Healer, and nobody had it.
Right.
It was the only one. I said, let me get it.
Okay.
And so, like, after that, I started saying Mind, Body, Soul, this, Mind, Body, Soul, that. So I believe I was the first one to have Mind, Body, Soul Healer. But that's what that stemmed from. But it's also, what I do.
Right.
And that's what I do. That's who I am, a mind, body, soul healer. So
okay, you just took it and ran with it.
Just took it and ran with it.
Okay, so what he said about the soul part, he said you have soulful hands. So you said you tie that into what you were already doing. You were already mind, body.
Yeah.
So when, first did you realize that is even a thing? Like that mind, body, and soul are still separate entities, though. Because you wouldn't think that as people, like how we are born and how we raise the things we learn, we just think that this is it. We don't understand like the different components that make us up as beings. Like when did you first understand like I deal with the mind and I deal with the body and now I'm tying the soul into it?
Well, too, as being a neuromuscular therapist.
Okay.
I specialize in therapeutic massage. And so just correlating everything, I try to use logic. And so if you kick your toe on any hard object, what's your first reaction?
Ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's going to affect you what? Mentally. It's going to affect your soul, mind, body, soul, because all of them are connected.
Okay.
If your soul is agonizing, right, it's going to affect you mentally and it's going to affect you physically.
Right.
So either or, it doesn't matter. If your mind is conflicted, if you're worrying all the time, it's going to affect your soul and it's going to affect your body.
Your body, definitely your body.
So you cannot separate the mind, body, and soul. They're all interlinked.
Okay.
Together. So.
Okay. And doing neuromuscular, how long have you been doing that?
I've been doing massage 17 years.
So 17 years. So that's when you kind of came into that understanding of the body. You tie it to your mind through that learning that you experienced. So that was 17 years ago. But 7 years ago is when you tied the name together.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've always been, I think I was about 8 or 9 years old. I've always been fascinated with the anatomy. My mom was a registered nurse.
Oh, okay.
And I remember I used to be intrigued with her medical books. And I used to study her books.
At 8?
I was 8, 9 years old. I used to study her books. Like, ooh. And I used to memorize the bones and the muscles.
Really?
Like more than like the Slavecational system.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I was more intrigued with the anatomy more than I was with school.
Yeah.
School books and work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I've always been, but never knew that I had the gift.
Okay.
I just remember 30 plus years ago, and girls I used to be involved with, I just massage them, not thinking nothing of it. They was like, "Ooh, you got those hands," but I never knew
that this was a gift.
That it was a gift.
Because it's just me. Like, it's just who I am.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely wasn't tapped in. And I've heard that from several females, like, oh man, come put those hands on me. Like, you got some hands. And I'm like, oh, whatever, you know. So I was totally primarily in my masculine energy. Mm-hmm. So I hadn't even tapped into my feminine energy at that point, you know, during my teenage years.
Okay. So still in the masculine. And but like you said, back then you weren't looking at it like that. It's just like you were just like tuned in, tapped in, turned on. That's what Abraham be saying. Yeah. From 8, Lord have mercy. 8 years old, I was playing hopscotch. I wasn't looking in no medical book. No, that's dope though. That's dope.
Yeah, I've always been advanced. I started school, I was 2?
Okay.
Yeah, 2. I was 2. And I started school.
Okay.
So I've always been advanced.
Okay.
Yeah. I was learning even in the womb because my mom was still in school.
Oh, nice.
So that the power of a woman being pregnant with a child, whatever she succumbs to or put herself in whatever environment, that child is learning.
Is absorbing it.
Absorbing the energy.
Yes.
So I came out a genius. You know what I'm saying? Like,
especially nursing school, like
yeah, just knowing stuff.
So all of that was like embedded in you.
It was already embedded in me. Stuff I knew, stuff I was doing that was so advanced at my age. I was an entrepreneur at 8. Yeah. I was selling posters and traveling. I used to stay in louiie town in St. Louis, and used to hang out Sean and Wayne Williams, and we used to travel, shovel snow, all this. You know, we was mischievous, though, breaking into stuff. And we used to take these posters and we used to sell them. And we used to get into the paper machines. You remember the paper machines? You know, okay. So y'all remember those paper machines, the box that you used to put, well, I think it was like 25 cents or whatever it was, $1 or whatever. And you get the paper out the machines. They used to have them on the corners.
Like blank paper?
No, newspapers.
Newspaper. Yes, I know those.
Oh, okay. I was getting ready to say.
You said paper machine. I'm like, newspapers. Okay, yeah.
So we learned a way to use the wires in the Chinese box from the Chinese restaurants. They used to have the wires in them.
Oh, around the boxes.
Around the boxes. So we used to take those and put them down in the coin slot and pop it open. Pop it open.
So y'all the reason we don't have we stopped paying for newspapers because we used to go there and it just used to be open. Like they done broken these again. So that was y'all.
Yeah,
okay.
Back in the day. Yeah.
Okay.
So and we used to sell them. And I was pumping gas I pumped gas down there by the louiie town. I swept. I'm talking about I'm 8 going to taverns, sweeping floors. So I've always been an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Yeah, for a long time.
You're like, I got to get it.
Yeah, I got it. But it was already in me.
Yeah, okay.
It was so ingrained in me, like that hustle. I got to make my money. And so.
Did you get not bad grades, but were you like not, because they say typically like 90% of the time, like entrepreneurs that have that, they're normally rebellious when it comes to the Slavecational system, and normally like C, D students because and that's not because they don't know the work.
Yeah.
It's just because they simply just like F this. Like I'm in the macro. I'm thinking bigger than this. Yeah. Like, did you get like average to bad grades?
I was the flag man. Red F's.
What? All the F's. Okay.
D's, F's.
Oh yeah.
So
you was completely like.
I was, like in high school at Normandy, I was eating on all lunches. I skipped math.
High school.
I skipped school. I didn't go to school. They couldn't entertain me because the teachers wasn't qualified to teach a genius.
There you go. Yeah.
They wasn't qualified to teach people like us.
Yeah, that already know so much outside of this system.
Yeah. So you got this school system. You got this box. And this teaching this Slavecational system, education material, this one subject to 20, 30-something children. That's just like one size fits all, and it doesn't work. So my learning curve was and I was just like, in class, like, okay. I don't
How
want
can
to.
I make some money?
I don't listen. I don't want to know nothing about no Boston Tea Party and no Bunkers Hill.
He was
in
up in there
history.
like, man, what we about to do?
So of course I was 6 years in high school because I didn't apply myself.
Right.
Because it didn't do anything.
It didn't
for
apply
me.
to you.
It didn't apply to me. But when I got locked up the first time and I got out, I got my GED. And so during the training of getting my GED, this one young lady, she understood. This one young lady, she understood that she showed me it was something she did with math, and I was like, oh man, it was a math problem that I've never had in school. It was algebra. It was something.
Okay.
And I answered the question shorthand. Mm-hmm. And she was like, well, how did you come up with this answer? I said, I don't know. I said, is it right? She said, yeah, but how did you come up with it? Like, you didn't even work out the whole problem. It's like I figured it out. She said, well, it's wrong because you're supposed to work out the whole problem. I said, well, is the answer right? She was like, yeah. I said, well, that's all I need to know.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter how I got the answer.
Arrived at the answer.
Yeah. But at that point, I was like, man, was math that easy in school? You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I would have aced this stuff in school if somebody had the application or had the knowledge to be able to teach somebody like me.
Yeah.
I would have been valedictorian. I would have been straight A student.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff would have been easy.
Or at least until they understood, like, I don't have to arrive at the answer the same way you arrive at the answer.
Yeah.
I just came at it from a different angle.
Yeah.
Just, because I think a lot of the times when you grow up learning something, because like math, let's just say 1 + 1 is 2.
Yeah.
I can also get 2 - 0 is 2. It's also like 2 × 2 - 2 is also, but basically it's different ways to arrive at the same answer.
Yeah.
So, but teachers can only explain it and teach it the best they know how, the best they can process it, and how they were taught to arrive at it. Or
they have handcuffs on them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because even though they know this is the wrong material to teach.
Oh, sometimes they'll know.
They know, but because it's just like the pharmaceutical companies.
Okay.
They are under some type of oath.
Okay.
Right? Doctors and nurses, they under some type of Hippocratic oath, some oath they up under.
Something.
So maybe the same thing applies to the education system as well.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, okay, this is what you teach them.
Okay.
Don't go outside of this.
Okay.
Because
even if you know
even
something.
if you know.
Okay.
This is what you teach them.
Okay.
Even if you know this curriculum is doing nothing but brainwashing them.
Okay.
If you don't, you won't work.
Okay. Sometimes.
I believe
you think that's like 99% of it though?
Yeah. I
really?
believe, yeah. Because
school teachers?
Because you have to think about it. The prison system, because I'm an ex-felon, the prison system and school buses is the same. Just like the school. Like the cafeterias look the same.
Uh-huh.
The plates, the trays that we used to eat on is the same. The buses look the same. The only thing that's different from a school bus and a prison bus is they got little shackles.
So you can't get out the window.
Yeah, and what you call the little bar, the screen, the cage. That's the only difference.
You're right. The trays,
everything.
The tables. I went to juvenile for a week, and the circle tables in the cafeteria, it was all the same.
It's the same. It's the Slavecational system. That's why I call it. It's just like it's no different in the prison system.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's deep. Now this thing, when you go down that rabbit hole of the matrix, and that's facts. Nobody can argue that.
Yeah.
Because
I was about to say, you just laid it out there.
Yeah.
You can't argue that. The bus, the trays, the tables, I don't know how the classrooms look. Like, I know they have like educational and stuff in prison and stuff, but I ain't never seen that part. But
then think about grade school. So in prison, you got to walk in a straight line.
Yeah.
When you're walking down the hall.
Yeah.
Don't they do you like that in grade school?
Yeah.
So if you get reprimanded reprimanded in prison, they send you to the hole, right? Mm-hmm. You get reprimanded in school, you get suspended.
Suspended, in school suspension, or expelled, or something.
Or get sent to the little yellow houses on the outside of the school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However they in school suspension is.
Yep, yeah. just set up just like the prison system.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Ooh, y'all. So I mean, teachers, when it comes to teachers too, because you go to college when you like 18, 19 after you done graduated. So like a lot of what they learned, like you said, it's still like the same system to what they learned too. Mm-hmm. So it's like even when they in college, they don't even understand like how they're being taught is how they're going to teach someone else. Mm-hmm. And some of them don't even try to like think outside the box.
Yeah.
Or do you think majority of them know? Because I think it's like...
A lot of them know.
Okay.
I believe a lot of them know.
Okay.
It's just like with any other thing they put out there, people are afraid to lose their jobs.
Okay.
So they won't speak against the system.
Okay.
Why you think during this whole pandemic, like you have a lot of doctors and nurses speaking up against it?
Yeah. I came across a lot of videos on YouTube where they said the plant-based diet was like the answer. Yeah,
and they lose their jobs because they go against the system.
I didn't know that.
Or they quit.
Okay.
Because they like, I don't want to be a part of this system no more because it's not right.
Right.
It's not right.
Right.
So if you're not afraid to lose that job in the slavecational system, and that's even in power, we as beings on the earth, we have the power. Because if you have over 6-7 billion people, humanity across the board. Now let's go across all genders and religion and quote unquote color, and we all have a spirit. We all bleed. We are part of humanity, right? So we came together as one, for we are one. We have the power. When we come together.
I like to say when.
When we come together.
Because you're prophesizing.
Yeah, when we come together. When we come together, we have the power, and the people that's been ruling, they have no leverage no more.
Yeah.
So they have to continue to put things in place to cause fears.
Division.
It's fear. Number one thing they use is fear. Because they know if they can get you here, remember, mind, body, and soul, same principle applies.
Yeah.
They get you here.
Everything else falls in line. Your
soul and your body is going, yes, sir. No, sir. Yeah. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the hue of your skin is. It doesn't matter. See, people think because, they white, they privileged. They're slaves too.
Okay.
But not even realizing or aware that they're part of the slave system. This whole world is a plantation. And the people that's been ruling laughing at everybody. Like, they don't even know. They thinking they got white privilege or Asian privilege, but they all slaves. They don't even know it. And they sit back laughing. We got them fools fighting against each other, thinking this is a race war and this type of war. We got them folk looking at they camel toes and penis prints and turning up and watching sports and part of the matrix. It's a distraction. So yeah.
From your true purpose.
From your true purpose. Keep you distracted. Keep that carrot dangling in front of you.
Yeah. In religion, like I feel like that one's like the biggest one. Like from the beginning of the beginning. I feel like that's like the most sacred one because it's just like your belief system is like when you come here, your belief system that's like gonna be like the first automatic thing that you gonna hold dearest. And that's like where a lot of fear is also instilled into your religion, your belief system. Yeah. So because that's where your salvation lies and everything. So I think that's like the biggest one that it seemed to become like a popular thing. I just seen he's a rapper, Lord, I don't even know his name, had all the tattoos on his face.
6ix9ine?
No, not 6ix9ine. He had the wild hair, he had wild hair, he had the wigs. And he was just reckless for a long time. But for like the last couple of years, I think he converted to, was it Muslim? I think he converted to the Muslim faith. So he basically was just on the internet arguing about, no, it's a boxer just became a Muslim. What's his name? Javante Davis.
Okay.
Just converted over to Islam.
Okay.
And so the Muslim brother had been Muslim for the last 5 years, also a rapper. So they basically going back and forth against the faith. Like, oh no, the Bible says this, but then my religion says that, but then this religion teaches you this, but this religion teaches you that. And it was just like, and I'm just looking at it from my macro point of view of spirituality, like not religion. And I'm just like, yeah, they just don't know, like both of y'all, right?
Yeah.
Like, and in certain things, it's just, I'm like, that's the same thing. It's just interpreted different because across a different language.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
it's part of the system, the brainwashing.
it's just that's why I was like, I feel like that was like the religion was the beginning of the beginning before the color, before the careers, before the other separation of things. I'm just like, the religion was the first. It just like separated over time, and then all the other divisions came along down the line. But I'm just like, yeah, because I've been like studying like a lot of the ancient Kemet teachings of the Kemetic learning, however you say it. That's what I've been like, going back to the carvings on the wall and the symbolism, and they was talking about how important symbols and symbolism is. So it was just like, when you read the stories in the Bible, it's just like, oh, okay, that's related to that language, interpretation over time. And then it was like, what came after that? Christianity, let's just say the Muslim faith. And I'm just like, oh, it's just saying the same thing the Bible's saying. It's just a few words that are different. And I'm just like,